Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex and arrive at episode number 389 and touch my chocolate biscuits and I'll fillet you. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
Good.
Staying away from my chocolate biscuits?
Yes, I don't want to get flayed.
Ha! Ha! I cut you. I cut you so bad I wish I hadn't cut you.
I only wanted a biscuit.
What'd you guys do this week?
We went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Hey!
It was really good.
We can talk about it now.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A nice palate cleanser. A good...
Until that ending.
Yeah. Even... Because I knew it was coming. And even knowing it was coming didn't lessen its impact at all. Of course, I had it now in context of, you know... oh, wow, that's really not a good situation. But I had a lot of fun with it.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah. I want to use the word romp, but I don't want it to have the negative connotation towards it. Because, you know, you say romp and you oh, it's just kind of fluff. And it's more than that. It's. I thought the villains, I liked how there wasn't, while there is one clear-cut villain, everybody else is much more complex of characters. I liked all that about it. Much less pantomime than Yellow Jacket was.
Yeah, I can see that now. Because Yellow Jacket comes across, it's like, he starts off and it's like, oh, this is going to be a great bad guy. And then it's like, no.
Well, you can see his spiral downward.
Yeah.
As his exposure to the particle
He becomes more and more
unstabilizes him, yeah. Destabilizes him.
Panto's a good word for it, actually.
He gets a bit scenery chewing, and there was none of that in this.
I thought Ghost was really good.
Yeah.
Sean, did you see anything this week?
It's a Hotel Transylvania 3.
How is it?
It's okay.
Just okay.
Just okay.
Law of diminishing returns?
Yeah. Well, what's weird is that I had no interest in these. I didn't know anything about them, or I kind of came to them very, very late, and it was only through the grandkids that all of a sudden it was like, oh, that's the thing. And so I watched the first one kind of begrudgingly, and it was like, oh, that was actually really good. I enjoyed that one a lot. And then we watched 2, and it was like, oh, man, I love 2. I absolutely love the second one. I think it's better than the first. And so I kind of figured they were done, and then, oh, here's a trailer for a third one. We're going to get a trilogy. And so we took Katrina, and both her and Mel enjoyed it. But it almost in a way feels like it's a direct-to-video sequel that somehow still wound up getting a theatrical release.
Well, with the names involved, you kind of...
Sort of is, because didn't one of the streaming services get it for a weekend before it went to theaters?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw an ad for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, okay then.
I know there's a TV series now, too.
Yeah. No, this is actually see it before theaters thing, and I thought it was Amazon Prime, but I could be wrong. I remember seeing an ad for it on Facebook or something.
You know, and I mean, it's got the same cast, and it's the same animation quality. It's not like it's a drop there, but yeah, I just a couple of the jokes were, whereas with the others, there are kind of consistently things that I find amusing, or that was great, or that was really clever, or whatever. And this one had just a couple of those, and for the most part, the rest of it just kind of laid there and did its thing, and it wasn't as good, I didn't think. So I thought it was the weakest of the 3, but yeah, it's still an enjoyable movie.
Is it still Jendy Tartakovsky?
It is still Jenny Carter, which is one of the things that surprised me, because I thought, well, you know, maybe he didn't, but no, he did this one too. Like, huh?
Has he been involved in writing them too, or just
writing and directing? Huh. All 3 of them.
Wonder if it was a contract thing. He needed to finish off his contract or something.
I don't know.
Anything else? Keith, did you see anything else? You're almost caught up on Luke Cage.
Almost done with Luke Cage. Got 2 more episodes to go of that. That's about it. Did you watch anything, Glenn?
I didn't do anything this week as far as movies or entertainment goes.
Did you do anything fun?
Did some light reading. Went to the Fiesta with the kids on Saturday. That was pretty much it.
Nice.
Easy week.
Busy week, actually, at work. So I come home exhausted. Don't do anything. Caitlin started driving, so watch out.
Ooh.
She took her driver's class a month ago. Or not even a month ago. A few weeks back. And then she started her driving. So she did 3 hours of driving on Thursday, and she'll do another 3 hours of driving tomorrow morning. And then she's actually already got her learner's permit. Holly took her down Friday afternoon for that. So
Caitlin can't possibly be old enough
yeah,
to
she'll
be
be
driving.
15. She'll be 15 in a couple of weeks. So the learner's permit. She's got to drive with us for a year before she can even start driving to school on her own in Kansas. So.
Caitlin can't possibly be old enough to be starting to drive.
It's pretty crazy, huh?
She can't be 15.
She's almost 15.
Oof.
Well, let's move on to news.
Lots of news this week. So a teaser dropped during the World Cup. Seems to be the trend now.
I thought it was funny. Somebody posted online. It says, so was the Doctor Who teaser a way for soccer fans to get a chance to see Doctor Who, or was the Doctor Who teaser a way for people to actually want to watch the World Cup since England went out last round?
I'm sure part of it was thinking England was going to stay in it.
Fine, I guess I'll tune in and watch the World Cup.
We didn't even have to see it over in the UK to get it, because it came down really quick after that game was over.
Did it?
Really quick, yeah. I saw it maybe an hour after I learned that France won. So,
Spoilers.
oh, I'm sorry. Did you record that?
I recorded it. I was all
well,
set to go home
Bad news.
and watch World Cup.
I was pulling for Croatia, even though they beat England. I wanted to see England go all the way, but when Croatia won, I thought, you know what? They've never had a World Cup. They've never even gone to the finals. Let's see if they can take it all the way. And no, France came in and squashed them like a bug. What'd you guys think of the teaser?
It was interesting.
It's a teaser,
It's
you know,
a teaser.
and
Truly a teaser.
I really thought it was. I liked it because I think it was kind of artful. It was really kind of visual. It had kind of a everyday life feel to it, and then you kind of have this. You have the Doctor step in at the end. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't tell you anything, I think, about the show, except for we do get to see
Each
the three
actor,
quote-unquote companions, if in fact they really are. And again, we get to see the Doctor again. But Entertainment Weekly dropped some pictures this week with them as well. So,
and some interviews, too.
so we've already got kind of a look at them, maybe a little more in character. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. It was enough to whet the appetite, It'll hold me over until whenever.
Yeah, I kind of expected a date.
Yeah, I was surprised we didn't see the
didn't
date
get that.
attached.
I like their the slogan for the season. The universe is calling.
Yeah.
I can't get that excited about it.
Well, you don't like the 13th Doctor.
No, that is not true.
What's funny?
Although I beat
It's
me
funny.
to it.
We were just talking about taking an item off of our news list so that Sean didn't give the impression that he didn't like the 13th Doctor.
Although I do take exception to, I don't remember who it was, but somebody, one of the services online, when they had posted it, said, "Oh, Jodie Whittaker shines in this teaser," and it's like, she's barely in it. Come on,
Well, she shines. That's what all that glittery, sparkly stuff was.
They were very
coming
literal
down,
about it.
They were being very literal.
She shows up, she
She
stares at
walked
the
in,
camera for 2
materialized,
seconds.
and she had that kind of that glow around her.
And she shined in those 2 seconds.
It just wasn't enough of a trailer teaser to get me excited.
Well, that's just it. It's a teaser. I mean,
It's a tease,
it
tease,
really
tease.
was the epitome of a teaser. So.
And I would have got just as much out of this if you had released a black screen with the Who font and said "coming soon." It would have been just as much of a tease for me.
I think it said a lot for the companions. I think more so than maybe the Doctor.
So I'm just waiting to see the analysis after the fact of, okay, so what's the Beano magazine represents and what does this pizza mean?
Has anybody tackled this frame by frame?
There
yet?
is there is a reason. I didn't go into it, but I did see an article already. It was talking about how the Beano magazine actually ties to that actor. So that there was a specific
That's
reason why
nice.
they use that. Unfortunately, I didn't read any more than that.
But
I
I'm
had
expecting
seen
the
that before I came over.
speculation of what it will mean for the character and the series as a
Yeah,
whole.
no, I think that
It's
must
going to
have,
spell out the entire series
From-
in that one magazine.
from the impression I got, at least for that particular thing, it's a familiar nod to people that know the actor. So
Oh, nice.
Oh, and didn't you catch that one part that very obviously meant that Peter Jackson was going to come in and direct an episode? I mean, that's totally what
Well,
that
and the
was
one
telling
bit
us.
where it totally shows that Jack Harkness is going to return.
Yeah.
all I saw was that somebody likes pizza.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Well, the other bit of news we got this week was a classic Doctor Who is going to come to BBC America.
Yes, Shada is going to air on July 19th. So that will be this coming Thursday.
This week.
I'm trying to find the time. Of course, this is the animated version that has yet to come out on DVD in the U.S. So this is the U.S.'s first chance to see the animated Shada.
I'm of two minds of that. Yay, that it's going to be on TV and it's going to be on BBC America. But now I know why they've delayed
So they
the
can
North American release of Shada so they can air this silly thing. I want my DVD.
So just check your local listings. You might have to, instead of searching Shada, you have to search Doctor Who: The Lost Episode in your DVR to find it in order to record it.
There's a bit of a marketing there.
Yeah.
People that don't know what this is aren't even going to know what Shada is. How do we market this? How about a Lost Episode? Okay.
And then people...
Admittedly,
could you imagine not knowing it was Shada and tuning in and being like, it's just Shada? I thought it was like, they found a new episode.
There's only 14 different releases of this thing.
I was really hoping for Marco Polo.
Yeah, exactly. Something.
Even the name Shada,
it could
doesn't mean
backfire.
anything unless you're a Who fan. So
Even then, until you've seen Shada, it doesn't mean
that's
anything.
true.
Unless you know the history of Shada.
This isn't Lost. They've found this like 4 or 5 times over. It might be a bit interesting for people to tune in and watch it and go, wait, I don't remember Doctor Who having cartoons in it.
Yeah, it's true.
you know, upon further reflection, I think Douglas Adams is pulling one over on us. I don't think it had anything to do with the controller strike. I think he unfinished this on purpose. I think this is the
To
great...
continue it going.
Posthumously.
Shada would be
A
nothing today.
posthumous prank.
Yeah, it's just going to, every time it gets reissued or re-released, he laughs. And look at these idiots. It's the greatest,
reason
thing
I
I
didn't.
never finished writing. I would not put it above Douglas. If that was the case. I really wouldn't.
Moving on to a little TV action on
Well, I was
Twitch.
going to add in there, well, you only have to wait till September 4th for your DVD.
I know. We already had the release date.
I was just going to remind you.
Oh, yeah, I know when it is. I got it on pre-order on Amazon.
Jab, jab.
Although a region-free Blu-ray is already available on Amazon.
No. I'll wait for the North American copy. Just as I'm waiting for season 3, 4, and 5 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and season 2 of Agent Carter. I still haven't broke down and bought the region-free copies of those yet, but I'm not going to go in there. That's just going to get me on another rant that nobody needs to listen to. So, anyway, speaking of another venue of TV that you can see on your TV or on computer.
Yeah, so on the heels of the success of the classic Doctor Who on Twitch, they are now going to stream all of Torchwood. So they're doing this a little differently because it's not as big of an amount. They are doing every Sunday starting this week. So you've missed season 1 if you didn't know about this already. So season 2 starts next Sunday, July 22nd. And so they're doing a season a Sunday. So the 9th...
And it's only the first 4 seasons, right? It's
Yes, not the...
Not the big finish. Because there's only 4
Oh, you're right.
TV
There is only
versions.
4 seasons, because Miracle Day is season
Miracle
4.
Day was the Stars
Right.
Venture.
Right,
BBC
but it
Stars
is.
Venture.
Okay, so it's all...
So
it's
yeah,
all the TV. Okay, never mind.
starting on July 29th will be Children of Earth, and then on August 5th will be Miracle Day.
Gotcha.
So there's your Sunday television for you. Although 29th is going to be a short one compared to all the other
Right,
seasons.
this means you get to watch it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to... It begins at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I assume it will repeat also if they get the chance. I don't know. It does not specify in this article that I have.
I'm not familiar enough with Twitch to be able to determine that. So, the Doctor Who marathon is still ongoing. Yes.
Yes, because we just finished the 5th season.
Yeah,
The 5th Doctor.
Fifth Doctor, yeah.
Davidson.
We'll start Sixth Doctor soon.
Monday.
Yep.
And that's just weekdays.
Well, I say
That's just
soon
weekdays.
because if this comes out Monday night, then
We have already started.
we have already dated it. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's
exciting.
just weeknights. It's not weekends.
Right.
Does that mean eventually we'll get Sarah Jane Adventures in class? Maybe
It's possible.
that'd be fun. Or just sitting there not doing anything. So let's
I want to
get 'em
know
out
when
there.
Twitch is going to marathon stream Canine and Company. That's what I'm
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, after Tom's season, they did Canine Company.
They did. That's right. I forgot.
In between,
a lot of people missed that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Did they break up Legopolis and Castrovalva?
I don't remember if they did or not.
They might have done it after Castrovalva.
I don't remember how it went, but yeah, you're right. They did stream that.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that. I didn't tune in and watch it, much to my chagrin. Not chagrin, dismay. I was too busy.
Aww.
Yeah.
Canine.
Well, from small screen to big stage.
Yeah, so there has been, the last couple of nights, the Muppets have performed in the UK. On stage.
Yeah, the Muppets take the O2, which is the arena that used to be, well, it's under what used to be the Millennium Arena or the Millennium Dome. It's underneath that. That's what the arena they built underneath there. It's a big stage venue.
That is a huge venue.
It is
for
huge.
Muppets.
It really is.
Well, the Muppets can fill that big of a venue.
Well, this show is similar. In fact, I think they may have reworked some of the skits to make them obviously more topical for there. But this actually played at Hollywood Bowl last year. I think it was called The Muppets Take the Hollywood Bowl. The idea is that the premise is they're going back to their roots and kind of doing a lot of, in fact, they rehash a lot of the sketch comedy that they did on The Muppet Show, the syndicated show in the 1970s. And obviously they rework it so it's a little more topical and up to today. And they bring in guest performances. I think Kylie Minogue was on there. There was a couple other British performers that also joined them. And two particular British performers that we're very familiar with.
Yeah, so there was a Pigs in Space sketch, and the Doctor stopped by in the form of the 10th Doctor, and then the next night, the 5th Doctor. So
which was
David Tennant
cool.
and Peter Davison came in and did a sketch with Miss Piggy and the other Pigs in Space. You can find some videos online.
There are.
It's pretty
in fact,
awesome.
if you go to our Facebook page, we've linked to a few of the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I think my favorite part of it, I mean, just the fact that David Tennant and Peter Davison showed up to reprise their roles as the Doctor is incredible. And that they're doing an interactive sketch with Pigs in Space. That was amazing. But I thought my favorite part of it was the fact that Link gets pulled into the regenerator. And did you guys see that part? You didn't see that? Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I've just seen a couple clips.
Link gets pulled into this regeneration thing that's been attached itself to the console or to their ship console, and it pops him up into the screen behind them, and he regenerates from Link into all 13 incarnations of the Doctor, but it's not Link each time. So the first one was Sam the Eagle as the first Doctor. The second one was that Gonzo as the second Doctor. The third one was, let me see if I can do this from memory, Pepe as the third Doctor. Fozzie was third Doctor. Yeah, Fozzie was the fourth Doctor. Scooter was the fifth Doctor. Zoot was the sixth Doctor, which was perfect with the hair, too. I mean, just because Zoot's got the yellow kind of hair, bushy hair. Zoot, and then they ran through really quick. So, sixth, seventh Doctor... No, I can't remember who was the seventh Doctor. Actually, I can't remember who was the eighth Doctor. Uncle the Phantom of the Muppet Opera. He was.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Uncle Gargoyle, the Gargoyle guy. Anyway, he was the War Doctor. I'm skipping a few because I can only remember him now. I think Rizzo the Rat was the ninth Doctor. 10th Doctor was not coming to my brain now. Anyway, they go through them all. And, Floyd, I think, was the 12th Doctor, or 11, or 13th. No, 12th Doctor was the 12th Doctor. He had the guitar, and then Piggy is the 13th Doctor, and then he comes back into the set and comes up, and of course she's like no, and of course when it lands on what looks like her, but then when he comes back to the set, he's like materializes back to the set. He starts to talk, and he's got Link's voice. So it's Miss Piggy sitting next to Miss Piggy. This Miss Piggy, as the 13th Doctor, has Link's voice. It's really, really funny. But I thought it was really cool that they flipped through all 13 Doctors using a Muppet to represent each incarnation. It was a lot of fun. You get a chance to watch it. It's a blast.
It was on my list.
They did the same thing with
around to it.
Peter Davison. I had the little joke with Link saying, "Ooh, what's that?" And he goes, "It's a sonic screwdriver, and he says, "That looks like a fancy little lightsaber."
Yeah, that's part of the clip I saw.
Not a lightsaber. Maybe he says that before he says it's a sonic screwdriver, but that is really neat. I thought it was
Really clever.
Cool. Kylie Minogue did the Manana song with Manana on the Doot Doots. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Now I have to watch it.
Yeah.
The Kylie Minogue clip, I've only seen a little tiny bit of it, but the Doctor clip, they finally have a long version of both. So, all right,
Nice.
and then
That's really awesome.
From stage to book.
From stage to book, Candy Jar has announced a couple of new things. They have announced the Brigadier 50 Years of Lethbridge Stewart. So this will be not the first non-fiction installments of their universe.
What?
Yeah.
The quiz book.
Well, okay. They're calling it their first non-fiction installment.
Okay.
That's what they are saying.
I guess the quiz book technically doesn't fit in fiction or non-fiction because I guess it's still fiction. It's just it still fits in the fictional universe.
Right.
Yeah, no, I know what they mean.
So this will be more of like an essay type book of the history of the character and that sort of aspect of things.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll talk a little bit about Nicholas Courtney and his portrayal as well.
Yeah,
So.
I think they shall.
Very cool.
One of the centerpieces of the book is a collation of the Briggs' television adventures over the years, establishing the definitive chronology of the character for the first time. So this is put together by Simon A. Forward. The piece takes its place alongside the raft of pieces established by Doctor Who names, not least an exclusive interview with John Levine, who played Benton, giving a rare behind-the-scenes look at the experience. So it's going to be a whole combination of different sort of non-fiction related stuff about the Brig.
Pretty cool.
And it is, of course, a limited edition release.
Make sure you get on there and pre-order yours so you can get a copy.
Now, another previous limited edition release is getting a new release. Havoc Files is getting another 50 print run.
Yay!
So the very first Havoc Files, if you don't have it yet, now's your chance to pick it up, a physical copy.
Maybe I should order another one so that Andy could actually sign it this time. Because he thought he did. And then when I got mine, it wasn't signed yet. Or it wasn't signed, so. Now I'll just take my copy over there sometime. I'll go see him, have it, sign it in person.
You got a chip in the big game now. You hold on to that.
That's right.
You pull it out when you're ready.
Very good. Anything else in the news arena?
That's it in the news.
Well, remember, you can subscribe to us and listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, which is now formally known as. That's still in the Play Music store to get there if you need to. It's also available on Stitcher, TuneIn, and Player FM, and we are still patiently awaiting to see if we can get onto Spotify, and when we do, we'll let you know. And to help us with this podcast, if you'll consider becoming a patron on the website, we appreciate it. Just go to travelingthevortex.com, click on that button, and you can help us out. And every bit of that goes into this podcast. And if you're already supporting us, we thank you. Maybe considering up your pledge just a little bit. It'll help out. We promise.
Every little bit helps.
It brings good things.
We
All
hope
right.
you think.
Very good. What's next?
Feedback. We've got a little bit of feedback from Ben.
We do?
Do you have a song?
We do. Do you have a song?
I don't have a song.
Oh,
Was I
I
supposed
think he
to?
was looking forward to a
That's
song.
why that's the only reason he wrote
That's
in.
why we got feedback this week, was so he could get a song.
He wrote to us on Twitter.
Oh, I'm not on Twitter.
It's why he can't find it. He's
That's why I
like
can't
flipping
find
through
it.
his mail going, I don't. You guys are
frantically scrolling.
You are
Frantically
pulling my leg.
A
There
little,
is
a little
no
behind the
feedback
scenes
this week.
here is they kind of gave me the eye, and I went and pulled up the email, and there was no feedback. And I thought, oh, okay. And then there was feedback. And
Maybe Keith ought to read the feedback.
Well, here's
this
his feedback. Here's a quick feedback just so Sean can sing to me. Not much going on here. Ankle is getting better. Still waiting on LB books. I think he meant LS books. Thanks to Candy Jar Peeps for getting that replacement copy going for me. As of a second ago, I was first place in the FML League. We are currently on our way home from the Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where we went to the trampoline park and then the minor league baseball game. We've stopped Iowa City to grab pizza from our favorite place here, and then off to Hertz Donuts for some dessert. That's it for now. Take care, everyone.
Have either of you guys had Hertz Donuts?
I have not.
I have.
Have you? Is it pretty good?
It's a donut.
It's a donut. See, everybody praises Hertz. And I guess they do clever, unique, novel donuts. So maybe that's what the appeal is of it.
They've got, they do a Cookie Monster donut. It's blue, and it literally looks like a Cookie Monster. But it's covered with, I don't know, basically some kind of, I don't know if they're dyed blue or not, but it's like Fruity Pebbles cereal.
Oh.
So it's got things on the donut that you wouldn't normally associate with putting on a donut.
No, but I could see Fruity Pebbles on a donut. That
Yeah.
actually sounds pretty good.
They do one with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Wait. Why is Fruity Pebbles on a Cookie Monster donut?
I don't know. It's a blue one, so it may not be Fruity Pebbles. But the
He's just saying there's a type of cereal.
Oh, okay.
It might be Blueberry or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I turned 40. I can't eat those anymore.
It's not Blueberry either. But the Blueberry doesn't look like that.
But yeah, it was just kind of they were okay.
Were they the ones that did the Doctor Who ones?
I think there was a Doctor
Maybe.
Who donut back in the day. So,
admittedly, you're probably talking to the wrong person, because in my mind, the entire donut industry peaked with the caramel long john. Where do you go from there? I mean,
I don't know. I had one of those.
You're a fan of the caramel long john too.
I'm a fan of the caramel long john.
I had one of those strawberry croissant ones from strawberry filled croissant donut from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was good.
Is it good?
Yeah,
I don't like filled donuts. I'm
nice
not a
and
fan.
flaky.
But you know, it's in a croissant that would be all right. Though. Is it that what it's like a croissant?
Yeah, it's basically a croissant. It's glazed.
I don't like that.
It's sweet croissant that's glazed and fried instead of baked. Like, and I think it even still had a hole in the center, so that the strawberry was interspersed throughout the ring.
Huh.
It was really good.
Maybe
it was a limited time thing.
Oh well.
So if you ever see it advertised,
great.
But
I'm intrigued and I can't have it now.
You might like a croissant donut too. So a cronut, as they're called.
All right. Well, let's move on.
If you want to send us feedback, you cannot throw Sean off.
I thought you already did that. Sorry.
We got distracted by donuts.
Yeah,
donuts.
We did.
I kind of want a donut now.
I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts after we leave here.
You can not throw Sean off by sending it to feedback@travelingthevortex.com or go to our website when you're looking at other stuff there and fill out the send us feedback
But
tab.
if you do want to send it to Twitter, we will accept it.
I will make sure I see it and send it along.
What
or
you need
Facebook.
to do is if you get it in Facebook or Twitter, just take and copy it into a email and send it, because Sean will never see it unless it goes in the email.
But if you're on Facebook, you can click the email button.
That's right.
And it will automatically load up an email for you.
That's
so you
right.
don't have to
You
go
can
through the
email us
Facebook
through
Messenger.
The bottom line is you can send us feedback however is comfortable for you. And I may not read it out, but one of these two will.
We will do our best.
They will ensure that I am very aware that, oh, you screwed up. And yes, there was feedback. So now it's kind of like a scavenger hunt. You should try and trip us up and send us feedback in the most inopportune way possible, just so that I feel bad every
Keith's
week.
over there going, oh, God, no, now I'm going to miss it.
I got to be really eagle-eyed.
I've got to be on it. Keep her the feedback.
All right, Sean's going to
If
take
you
over
do-
that role
If you do
now.
that, send us a regular email and say, hey, I sent you feedback. Have you found it yet?
You can't give that role to Sean, because then it'll be like weeks. We're going, I can't believe we don't have any feedback because he has no idea.
look.
Well, because then what would happen is we'd have a special mail call episode. Just read them all out at the same time.
Here's the mail that never fails.
We had to go deep into the archives to find this letter. It's been sitting there for 3 weeks.
Oh, should we do our review? Can we just get it over with, please?
Oh, wait.
right.
I don't have it pulled up, but
I've got a synopsis.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
You got a little bit.
It's not in French, so he can handle it this week.
Hopefully I can handle it this week. I'm not making any promises. The Year of the Pig. Ostend, 1913.
Oh, I know what you're getting.
War is coming. A war in which millions will die. And the guest in the suites, 139 at the Hotel Palace Thermae noses, which is odd considering he has trotters, a snout, and a lovely curly tail. Toby the Sapient Pig is a swine on the run. Two peculiar strangers have been hunting him across Europe. The first, Miss Alice Bultitude, is an Englishwoman and a collector of obscure theatrical ephemera. The second, Inspector Alphonse Charlatan. A bit premature there.
A little premature. Well, I had it all set, ready to go, and then I thought maybe I should play it because if it's a YouTube ad that comes up beforehand, it's going to be terrible. So I'll just play it real quick. And I thought,
so to make it even worse, he just fired it off in the middle. Keep going.
Keep going.
The second, Inspector Alfonso Charlotte, a celebrated member of the detective police, the man who brought the trunk murderess of Saint Germain to justice. This was supposed to be a reading week for the Doctor and Peri. Now they must do battle with a villain who wants to wipe every last human from the face of the earth. Once he's had just another dish of truffles. And maybe a valedictory glass of fizzy lemonade.
Okay.
Really? He wanted to... I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
I'm glad we're all on board this week.
Okay, so I'm going to go first then.
Good. You go. Go right ahead.
I sat for what felt like 2 hours.
It's longer.
It's longer than that.
Yep.
In rapt attention. I was mesmerized by this absurd, bonkers little story. And it was refreshing because it wasn't your typical Doctor Who. It was very different. We've got the Doctor seemingly on a legit vacation break.
Right.
And as always, something weird happens. But the weird never reached that level of earth-shattering proportions. It was going to be localized weird, like for the hotel. And that was about it. Somebody was going to be impacted by this, but probably not everybody. Okay.
Well, it totally set itself up to be an Agatha Christie mystery.
It felt like an Agatha Christie mystery, and we even have this kind of Miss Marple lady running around, and I'm like, okay.
And what's his face from
And Perot?
Yeah, Perot.
We've got all these characters.
I was going to say like... Christopher Brano, if I could remember his name.
Okay, cool. And it's got a sapient pig. And of course, my first
who sounds like Winnie the Pooh.
Who does sound like
yes,
Winnie the Pooh.
I could not get over that.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
I could not get over the fact that
I actually went and
he
looked it
sounded
up
like
to make
Winnie
sure
the
it
Pooh.
wasn't Jim Cummings.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Jim Cummings for sure.
But of course, my first thought is, well, Glenn's going to hate this because there's a sapient pig. But
no,
let's see where we go with it.
No, wait.
He's not anthropomorphized.
He's not an anthropomorphized pig because he is. Well, he is an anthropomorphized pig. He gets a pass because he's actually a pig. If it was a anthropomorphized pig that they were passing off as an alien, then no, that does not work. But he ends up turning out to be a pig. But I thought they were going that route of him being... I thought, here we go with the goats all over again. But no, he gets a pass.
He's a legit
they get
pig.
a pass.
Just like the pig in World War III. It gets a pass.
Yes, because that one was engineered to be from a pig, yes. So.
And there's a pig actor. Okay. And I'm just... Where are you going? Where are you going? I could not eat up enough of this story.
So for the record, at least my file, which had some trailers at the beginning and the end, was 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And
that wasn't the length of the play, though. The audio play was only just over 2 hours.
Really? It sure felt longer. Yeah. And only one break. But then I realized, well, of course, this is Big Finish doing their...
It was 45 and 45.
Two-part Sixth Doctor story. Okay.
It was longer than 45.
I kept waiting for the trip, and it wasn't there. So... there's some fantastic stuff at work here. Some really fantastic, albeit bizarre, stuff that happens in this audio play. And then that last half hour kicks in. And nothing happens. They don't resolve it. They don't clarify it. They don't solve it. We get the Doctor saying, well, sometimes we're not meant to know. And I threw things at my... I was like, what? And it was dangerous because I was in the car. But I was throwing things at my dashboard. I got so angry so quickly that nothing... It was just kind of like, yep, That's how it is. Look, can we talk about the fact that you implied that Shakespeare was a pig? But, and you give me this whole time is wrong, we have to fix it, and we don't go into that?
Well, they do, though. They do.
Yeah, they do.
They go into it as in the fact that it's a delusion of Toby's mind. Just like his memory of his childhood leaving the home, it's all fabricated in his mind to compensate
nothing
for all of
happened.
this. Yes, nothing happened, but they did go into it.
No,
and
you're
address
absolutely
it.
right in the fact that nothing happened.
Yeah.
But they
Any
do,
one of those would have been a better story.
They do at least make veiled attempts to explain at the end. It's poorly done, but they do make veiled attempts to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, in the history of Big Finish, I don't know that I have ever turned so quickly on an audio as I did on this one. They reeled me in. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. I could not figure this thing out, and I just couldn't wrap my brain around it.
I was
that oddball.
fairly
and I was enthralled, and then I got angry.
I wasn't enthralled hardly at all.
I was enthralled for the first half of the first half.
Yeah, maybe I was hooked for that long.
And then once it got to the actual break and things just started spiraling out of control, I quickly lost interest.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat.
I
wouldn't
figured out
even say
that
the first half of the first half. I was probably into it for about 20 minutes. And then I was like, you don't feel like you're going anywhere. And then it trundles, and it trundles, and it trundles, and it trundles, and it trundles.
And any big reveal I kind of saw coming, other than the fact that we don't actually get an answer as to who did this to them. I kind of once they
Hold on, they answered that. A scientist.
Yeah,
from the future.
Yeah,
because that's how he can time travel. Yeah, but the fact that the detective,
the inspector actually has a watch that does allow him to travel in time.
Yeah, a fob watch. Yeah, but the fact
which
that
is apparently
he
also
is,
a parachute.
No. It wasn't a parachute.
not a
That
literal.
was a figurative parachute. He escaped a certain folly because he was able to use the time machine to transport himself to the house. He still was injured in the process of that, but he was able to. He used
the
it as
doctor actually said you pulled the cord a little too late.
Yeah, again,
he's still using
figuratively.
it metaphorically.
Okay.
Yeah, it was metaphorically. It wasn't
I
figurative.
I think at that point I was beginning to sour, and I was trying to find fault with it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a little parachute.
Okay.
But the fact that the inspector was a pig and the brother also, I saw coming from a mile away.
Yeah. Super telegraphed.
Yeah,
and I kept hanging in there thinking
they
maybe
they do try to they do telegraph that early on, but try to make it as though they're going to
Like
haha,
he's the
we've made you
father.
think. No, I don't even think it goes that far.
Well, it tries to make you think, he's
no, it certainly
he's
does
dad,
because he
pig-
says
pig
that.
dad,
It-
yeah.
well, they don't try to make you think it. That's what they're.
Yeah.
That's what it's narrating to the listener at that point. But even then, it's still they go the route of maybe he's the scientist that is doing this, and then suddenly, but I am your father type thing.
It goes from I am your father to I am your metaphorical father because I created
There
you.
you go. There you
then,
go.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And to oh no, I actually am your brother, which like you said is telegraphed so early. And
then there's clone pigs of Toby that
So one
are
thing I don't
serving, but they don't really explain what the heck those are.
Yeah, where they came from. Although, so surely Charlie, which is the inspector, had more work done on him. Otherwise, everyone would be like, "Oh, look, it's a pig," like they do with Toby.
Yeah, well, that was.
But they never address that either. They try to hold the wool over our eyes, even though we know he's a pig. We know that he's going to be revealed to be a pig, but yet no one in the surrounding vicinity or anyone who encounters him acknowledges the fact that he looks like a pig.
Well,
or that he then had more cosmetic work done to not look like a pig.
And they kept towing the line even with Toby, where it was like, is there something porcine about your client? No, he's a pig.
Yeah, that's my greatest problem with this entire story is we go through the motions of finding out that he's a sentient pig, that to the point that he's clearly walking around with hooves and a pig face and a snout and ears, and they try to paint in the fact that he was billed as this sentient pig, and they put him in the perspective of a lot of other like novelty acts. This is
Dog-faced boy. And
this is 1913. Nobody's, not even the Doctor's going, there's something a little out of place here. You think I'd have known about this? They kind of painted the fact that this was like normal. Peri's not even a little bit surprised by this. I mean, she does have that thing where she relays this dream that she had after they get zapped the first time, and she gets dumped into the laundry suit. That's a whole other issue. But everybody seems to think that it's relatively normal that there's a pig that has been performing in society, and
that's why I stuck with it as long as I did, because those little pieces and the drop line about time not being right, or about Shakespeare being a pig, maybe there is something legitimately wrong with the entire experience. And I will.
I kept waiting for that shoe to drop.
And we never got it. And then speaking of the voice casting, who played Charles, the inspector?
Michael Keating?
I don't know him. Sounded like the Master.
Did you think?
I really thought Delgado's Master.
I couldn't.
Now, I know it wasn't him, obviously.
I didn't think it sounded like... He sounded familiar, but I couldn't place him.
Just the pattern of his speech, the way that he delivered certain lines, I really initially felt like I was being set up for that. And then it didn't happen, and I was okay with that, but I think that gave me that added fuel to push through, thinking there was really more to the story than what we wound up getting. Because it sounded just the way he would talk and the way his mannerisms were, it was very Delgado in disguise. Kind of Master.
That never got.
I never thought that either. I thought he sounded familiar, but
that just kind of added that one extra layer for me, that they are trapped in a simulation, or there's something weird going on, and I'm going to let you play. I'm going to let you have this rope, but you got to give me something at the end of this. I want my piece of cheese at the end of this rat maze.
I think I kind of came along the same way, except for everything became so obscure and avant-garde and surreal, and throughout the whole thing, that I actually found myself getting tired of waiting for as you were waiting on bated breath for the reveal, and they hooked you up the whole way. To me, about 20 minutes into this thing, I didn't feel like I was getting any answers. It was getting squirrelier and squirrelier and squirrelier, and I kept thinking, you're going to have to feed me something to keep me going. And they don't really do that until, as you say, much later into it, when they do start to reveal the whole twist in the plot, which ends up being pretty mundane and not really a twist at all. It's like they put the carrot and the stick out there, but I got tired of following the carrot, because I thought, you know what, it doesn't feel like I'm going to get there anyway. So I just kept getting exhausted following the carrot. The other thing back to the fact that everybody was so nonchalant, the fact that the Alice Bellitude, Miss Bellitude, was so fascinated with him, and so she's such a fanatic for him. I kept expecting her to have some sort of nefarious thing, especially when they bring up the fact they have this conversation about her buying. I love taxidermy, and I thought, okay, here we go. This is where we're going to go with it. She's wanting to.
She's evil.
She wants
she's
to
stuff him. Yeah,
and then she talks about buying this pig that was stuffed, that was dressed like him, and I thought, we got all the way through that, and then I thought, you told me the story with no payoff. All you did was just establish the fact that she's insane
really
and fanatical, and
felt
I already felt like I knew that. And so she does kind of. Did you know that was Maureen O'Brien, by the way, that voiced her?
Miss Boltitude,
Vicky from.
Oh no!
Yeah, Vicky from Doctor Who.
I don't want to notch this up any.
No, don't. You don't have to.
Well, and Nurse Albertine was Martha's mom.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Her sister? Yeah.
Was one of it was
Adoa,
one of Martha's relations, but it wasn't.
Played Sister Jet in New Earth, and Frances Jones in Smith and Jones.
Oh, okay. So she was Frances.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
And Arachnos Empress.
The voice cast is obviously they were good, because they dragged me along for 2.5 hours.
No, I can't. I can't downplay the performances. The problem, I think, is that what they were given to perform was so tedious to me.
How many lists of food? I mean, we get it.
Yeah,
it was a whole lot of food porn. It was so much.
They were pushing home the food point, and really, ultimately, all it does is it's almost like it's painting an allegory of the fact that he's a pig. Is all it is.
Did anybody else think maybe they were Vandegumps or
Andegum.
Not Vandegump. That's the elves from
Andegum from Second Doctor. Yeah. No,
like I thought maybe we were going there for a
little bit. Didn't even go there.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to think. I didn't. I didn't.
That's how much I struggled to fit it in a box.
This story, and it's so long. That's the problem. Is somebody sat down with a pen and padded this thing out with this really surreal story, and the only credit that I can give this story, if I'm going to look for the finer point of it, is this is, as you said, like nothing I have ever heard of in Doctor Who. And there's not, I mean, it's full of tropes from Agatha Christie or those kind of things, but they're not tropish enough to make it not its own thing. So it really, yeah, exactly. So for them to go out there on a limb and make something so different in Doctor Who, I have to give them credit for that. I have to give them points for effort in that. The problem is the story is so unsatisfying. In fact, if you want to use the food allegory, it's like stuffing yourself with a bunch of filling food that you don't necessarily, it's not even the food that you like. You just eat a lot of food and you're gorged at the end and you're feeling bloated, and it's like by the time it's over you're regretting that you went through the whole buffet. It's just it's like eating cheap buffet food and then getting to the end and you've stuffed yourself, you've gorged yourself, and it's like then you're feeling sick about it. That's what this story is. It's just it is a buffet of subpar food that I end up having to stuff myself with. It's just
you get 1,000 points for a food analogy for the pig episode. That summed it up. Just better than anything I could have said.
No,
you nailed it. I mean, if you had given this story to Mark Platt and said, "Can you make this like Ghostlight?" he would have turned something amazing into the
and come in about 30 minutes shorter.
And
had they cut out all the food lists and discussions of food and just he's just got to eat a lot, it would have cut an hour out of the story.
First 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, and then you're good.
Okay, you've dropped enough other hints.
But then it's him and the inspector talking about eating constantly and
even the doctor. Oh, I went to the food trolley. I brought blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care.
And there's so much pointless stuff in this. The doctor making an absolute fool of himself over Probst. It was like...
Which never came back to...
Yeah, why? And I thought this was going to happen this way, but this lends to the whole something happening and nobody really reacting the way they should. All of the beef ending up on the beach. There's all this beef that falls from the sky, and they make these little off-the-cuff explanations for what it could be. The doctor does say, or somebody does say about a cyclone picking up fish. They do make that analogy, but that just happens, and everybody's just kind of, there's beef on the beach.
You are at that point when the story, you literally have a thunderclap and cows are dropped on the beach. Like, this is not just a side of beef like a truck of... I mean,
right. In fact, they say some of them are still moving around.
Right.
The poor animals dropped on this beach. And the most somebody can respond to it is,
Yeah.
That kind of tells you where we've been.
Yeah.
That, and do you think it's still edible?
Yeah. Now,
thank you, Toby.
At the very least, that is quasi-explained with the time bomb, which I thought was a little too on point. But driving into the cows and obviously displacing them back
it out
to
the window
I hucked it out the window.
That's another thing that I gave them credit for. I really do like the fact that they go through with the explosion. You hear what's happening. You don't. I mean, right up to the last second, you think something has happened to them, only to find out that she spotted it. It was a little loose there, but she spotted it, wrapped it up, threw it out, was her instinct, because I did not expect that. I thought they had actually gone through the whole time bomb thing, and I thought, well, where did they end up? I didn't think they were killed or anything, because when he
No, I
started
thought it would be
explaining
a full-time displacement.
because the inspector says it's either going to put them a week forward or a week back, and I thought, well, how are they going to get back here? But I thought they went through with it, and I thought, well, that was kind of cool. And then to find out that they didn't, and even just giving me the little throwaway what happened behind the scenes was cool, because I thought, oh, okay, that's neat. You don't often do that. You got to go through with it and wrap it up later or figure out a way out of it. But this was just a quick, hey, saw it under there, threw it out. Sorry. So that was cool. So I'll give it marks for that. That doesn't get above.
I'm not sure that. I'm not sure that moving the action from the hotel to the train
didn't serve any purpose.
Yeah, suddenly we had a chase sequence in there. It was like,
it was just to add some action to it, because then we still wound up
Yep.
at the house of the inspector, and it was
Yep.
no different than being at the hotel at that point.
it really wasn't.
Other than explaining why Beef showed up on the beach for no reason.
Yeah, it gave it a reason for beach beef. There's a lot of exposition in this, a lot of unneeded, unnecessary exposition in this, and somebody
It's
just
not even always exposition; it's description.
It's that's
gluttony.
It's my dinner with Andre, but not as entertaining.
Somebody sat down with a pen and embellished a bunch of story, and it doesn't go anywhere, and it's unnecessary. And
we were going to edit it, but we ran out of red ink.
I want my 2 hours and some odd minutes back.
I think I'm more than anything, I think I'm mad at myself for being as hopeful as long as I was.
Yeah,
I really feel
that's even more of a letdown, I think. At least me, I was going, God, this is just trundling, and I'm not enjoying it. Sean's like, okay, what's next? Oh, there's got to be some big reveal. What's going to be? Only to get that letdown of an ending.
Thinking it was a literal parachute, I wished I had pulled the ripcord way sooner. I wish I'd have given up and gone, there's nothing here. There can't
The sad
be
thing
anything
about
here.
this,
because then they would have pulled something amazing out of their hat, and I would have went, wow, I gave up on you.
The sad thing about this story, I can honestly say that this doesn't happen very often. If we weren't reviewing this for this week, I probably would have given up on this story and said, maybe I'll come back to it another time. Maybe I'll finish this later. And I probably never would have, because this truly, I would have turned it off and said, I can't do this one. I just can't do it.
It would have been a cursory internet search of what's the deal with the episode.
Give me a summary.
Okay, I don't need to listen to that.
Give me a summary.
I mean,
I don't know if it's. Hopefully, his other stories are a little better, but he has done more for Big Finish. This writer,
it's Matthew Sweet.
Matthew Sweet.
Ironically enough,
He's written 2 other stories, one of which features the Celestial Toymaker, and then a bunch of Django and Lightfoot.
Oh, he wrote Voyage to the New World.
Yeah, so and then a Django and Lightfoot in the main range.
Right, because Voyage to the New World is a Sixth Doctor story.
But Ace and Hex story with Celestial Toymaker. So
well, we'll see how it goes.
120, Sean. We're approaching it.
Coming up, actually.
Better get me some backstory on Celestial Toymaker.
Yeah, we're going to have to put that in a
we do have to get that before we
lost
get there,
episode in the pipeline.
But he wrote about 5 or 6 actual Django and Lightfoot stories too. So.
Well, in this,
I think he's got the period down.
It would fit
so
the
it might
period.
work.
Fits the period.
It might work because
I just hope he has some better ideas.
I think he does a good job at least painting a picture of that period and the characters.
hell, this might have been better as a Django and Lightfoot story.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Might have been.
I can't argue
with their background in the theater, the fact that Toby was maybe that's how the genesis of this idea started, and somebody else said, no, you should put the Doctor in there. I don't know.
Well, speaking of lost stories that we need to get to, Sean, what do we got coming up on the schedule?
Coming up on the schedule at long last is a lost story. The lost story in some regards. Because it's the longest. It's the biggest.
Long, yeah.
We're tackling the Dalek Master Plan. And as posted on our website, the master plan for the Dalek Master Plan, in all of its gory details, is available. And, of course, I don't have it pulled up.
Do you want me to help out?
I know that we are starting with...
Next week will be part 1.
Part
in,
zero. Yeah.
No, part one. No, part one of our master plan.
Of our master plan.
Of our
Yes.
master plan of the Dalek master plan. Part one. We'll start with Mission to the Unknown, which only stills and fragments exist of that one. So you'll have to either watch a loose canon reconstruction. We're actually choosing to watch an amateur production, which I believe was put together by Ian Levine. So
I'm actually hoping to try to watch both so I can compare them.
that would be fine, yeah. But that's the one that we've chosen. If you can actually find that out there, I think on YouTube. So if you want to join along and look at that,
on the YouTube,
we'll make some comparisons on that. And then that Mission to the Unknown, as everybody knows, is a Doctor-less episode. It was set to kind of offset their seasons while they worked on another story, so they didn't have to have their actors. But it sets up the plot of the Daleks' master plan, and this was Mission to the Unknown, and it actually takes place chronologically in the release right ahead of the Mythmakers. So this happened, and then there were 4 episodes of the Mythmakers, and then Dalek Master Plan started 5 weeks later. So there was actually some time in between.
But we've decided to.
We're going to bookend it with this. So.
But could Katarina gets picked up in the Mythmakers, right?
She does get picked up in the Mythmakers, so we're going to start with Katarina once we get to The Nightmare Begins. Don't worry, she didn't stick around long.
That's what I've heard.
Spoilers. So we're going to do Mission to the Unknown, Nightmare Begins. Again, only fragments exist on that one. But Day of Armageddon, we do actually have that one, and that's found in the Lost in Time box set. So if you want to watch that there, you can do that. So that'll be our first week. But Day of Armageddon is preserved, so we'll be able to have some video.
So for week 1, we have a fan-made animated reconstruction, we have a loose cannons reconstruction, and we have an actual episode.
Correct. And we tried to do it in such a way that each week we were at least getting one video that had moving pictures that we could watch because we are doing a bulk. So this is us watching 3 things each week. The other thing that we're doing is there was a group, and I'll talk a little bit more about this next week when we get into it, but there was a group that did a fan-made comic book of Dalek Master Plan, and it was produced and was sold for charity online. And so I have copies of the book that was released, and so for each week there's a part, and they match up to Mission to the Unknown, Nightmare Begins, and Day of Armageddon. I think you can still get that online, and I'll put a link in the notes where you might still be able to buy that. Again, all of the proceeds to that went to a charity. Again, we'll talk a little bit about it next week, but that was a webcomic that was available for download, so we're going to review that along with, just to kind of help us, because there are 2 novelizations. Actually, they split Dalek Master Plan up into 2 novelizations. We opted not to go with the novelization this time because it's 2 full books that we have to do along with all of this. So we're going to do the comic book review.
And instead, we're saving those for when we eventually get around to Sarah Kingdom.
We will do that because
we will cover them.
We'll have some Sarah Kingdom stuff to do as well. Absolutely.
We kind of wanted to dip our toes into the master plan before we dove head first into the master plan.
So that's next week, and then maybe we'll just peek ahead each week, and so we aren't giving too much to everybody. So we'll just do a week ahead each time.
But 4 weeks of Dalek Master Plan, because it's 12 parts, including Mission to the Unknown.
That's correct. Very good. Anything else we need to talk about this week, fellas?
I don't think so.
All right. If it's going to do it for this time. Until next time, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
No, I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing ya.
Thanks for listening.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.